afternoon and welcome to another Money Making Mom Scope. This afternoon we're going to be talking about social media. I'm going to be sharing a few of my favorite social media tips and tricks, including my #1 tip for social media, and also be answering any of your questions that you have on social media. So welcome, I'm so glad to have you. For those of you who are new, hi Olivia! For those of you who are new, my name is Crystal Payne and I'm the founder of MoneySavingMom.com, as well as the New York Times bestselling author of, I have multiple books. My latest book just came out last week and it is called Money Making Mom. And you can find more about that at MoneyMakingMomBook.com. Yay, Stacy, you made it live. Thank you so much, Betsy. Okay, so I've been blogging for 10 years, trying to fix my window. See if we can get it. Okay, I've been blogging for 10 years and I have learned a lot about what to do and what not to do when it comes to social media. So we're going to be talking about that. A lot of you had a lot of questions after my scopes last week on social media, and I thought, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about social media and what we can, let's share best tips and tricks and practices, and let's learn from each other. So my #1 tip that I'm going to share with you might surprise you, and that is that I do not have social media on my phone. No social media on my phone. The only social media that I have on my phone, let me clarify that. The only social media that I have on my phone is Instagram. I update Instagram on my phone because Instagram for me is my kind of fun playground. I love it, and it's just my place. I don't follow very many people. I use it some for business, but mostly it's just my real life, behind the scenes, every day. If you want to know what Crystal Payne cares about, then you can follow me on Instagram. I'm the Money Saving Mom on Instagram, but I don't see it as business. I know, Olivia, I love Instagram. I love it because it's just fun and it's so real. And anyway, so I don't have any social media on my phone except for Instagram. And so Twitter, Facebook, my blog, Pinterest, all of that. I only update that from my computer. And the reason is because I want to be able to designate work versus non-work. And guess what? Oh, well, Periscope. Yes, Misty, sorry. So Periscope, yes, I knew there was one that was pretty. Okay, so Periscope is on my phone as well. But that's, to me, I'm not updating that. Like when I'm out shopping, I'm not going to probably update Periscope, if that makes sense. Like I'm not going to really check in on Periscope. Whereas Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest, you're going to be tempted to check in, and you're going to be tempted to update, and you're going to be tempted to respond to comments, and you're going to be tempted to engage and interact. And I just don't want that on my phone. I don't want that when I'm out and when I'm about and when I'm doing life and when I'm with my kids. I don't want to have that on my phone and that dinging at me and calling for me. So when I'm on my computer, I am working. And that really, to me, helps me to compartmentalize. So my computer, when it's open, it's work time. And when my computer is shut, it's not work time. And I can take my phone with me and go places, and I don't have to feel like I'm a slave to social media. So, yeah, I talked you into it. Yay! Okay, so just try it. Like if you're feeling like you're overwhelmed with social media, set some boundaries. It doesn't have to be that, but set some boundaries, because otherwise it can control our life and we can feel like we have to feed the beast and check in with the beast and constantly be like updating it and engaging, and it can cause us to miss out on life. That sense of urgency is gone. That's right. It's just gone. So my phone is my practical, like everyday life tool that I use for texting my friends, for making phone calls. Yeah, we use phones for making phone calls still. And I have a few apps. I have very few apps, but a few apps that I use, and listening to podcasts and updating, Instagram and my fun stuff, but it's not work. So I was just going to mention that. If anyone has any questions about anything regarding social media, I would love to try to answer. No promises, but yeah, phone calls, I know, text me. I said this morning, I was talking about making your, I can't even think of the word, but what was it about the stop doing list, your stop doing list. And I was talking about not answering the phone unless you have a meeting and if you don't know the number. And I know that extroverts probably view that as like, that is so boring and that is rude. But we introverts, we have to kind of set parameters. Otherwise the phone can just drain us. So, okay. I missed something. It distracts when homeschooling too. Yeah, turn off notifications on your phones. I am a big fan of turning off notifications. As many notifications as possible, turn them off. Don't get them in your email. Don't get them on your computer. Don't get them on your phone. Are you going to not be able to survive without notifications? Is there any notifications that you need for your life to live, to breathe? No. Introverts unite. You took the personality test. What were you, Olivia? I have to know. Yeah. So remove the notifications. And you know what? There's this thing called quiet. And it's really nice. So do you pay to boost posts on Facebook? That is a great question. Yes, and you'll save battery too, won't you? Okay, so I do pay to boost some posts on Facebook. Here's my criteria. 1, it has to almost always be a post that has done really well already. So it has to be a post that the engagement is really good already. 2, it has to be a post that I'm going to make multiple times back what I pay to boost. So I am not going to boost a post that is on, I did a post earlier that was like, when you feel lonely and left out. I am not your ISFP or IFSP or it's ISFP. Okay, ISFP. And that's at 16personalities.com. I do not pay to boost it if I'm not going to be making money off it. So the post, when you feel lonely and left out, I'm not going to really earn money off of that. That's not pushing a product. That's not any kind of, there's not any pitch in it. It's just a post on a topic. I'm not going to boost that post. But if a post has a pitch in it, for instance, whenever it's the ultimate bundles, so when there's the ultimate bundle sale, and let's say I did a post that was on why I quit Trim Healthy Mama with the last Healthy Living Bundle sale. Well, that post had really good engagement on Facebook, and it had a pitch at the bottom of that post for the Healthy Living Bundle sale. So if I pay to boost that post, let's say I paid $25 or $50. I usually don't start out with more than $25 or $50. And I'm gonna watch what happens. I'm gonna watch my click-throughs, I'm gonna watch my sales, and I'm gonna see, did I make, if I spent $25 to boost it, did I make $50 to $100 back at least? Then if I did, then I might take some of that $25 and pay to boost it a little bit more. But I'm going to do it small, I'm going to do it slow, and I'm going to not boost any post that I'm not going to make at least double or triple or quadruple what I paid to boost. What about just to increase your following? You could. The only time I would do that though, yes, I did Trim Healthy Mama. The only time that I would do that is if you had some kind of sign up and a strong push for a sign up, so that it's not just to get like traffic that's just drive-by traffic, but that it's going to attract the kind of market that you want to hit, and you're going to get them to sign up for some kind of freebie so that they're on your email list. Because otherwise, there's not really a lot of value in it for you long term. So you need to make sure that you are leading them to a post that's going to be hooky and have staying power so that long term they're going to become a loyal reader. Someone asked, what is my target for boosting? Right now, because I have however many, 770,000 followers on Facebook, I don't rarely boost to anything outside of my followers. And I have tried paid advertising, and I have found that when you do paid advertising, for instance, you can do a paid ad that would go in the stream of, I could boost a post, or I could pay to advertise to all of Michael Hyatt's followers, or to Chalene Johnson's followers, or anyone's followers. I can pay to put an ad in the stream to show to people who follow certain individuals. That works really well for some people, but for me personally, I found that boosting a post to my audience is better. The reason is because my audience most of the time already sort of knows who I am. And so I want to target my personal audience. And I want to encourage Facebook to show my posts to my personal audience. Now, if you're trying to build an audience, that's a very different thing. Right now, I am just trying to get Facebook to show posts to my audience. If you're trying to build an audience, you can totally do that. But I would try boosting posts versus advertising and see what the return is, because I found that boosting posts was actually more successful. You have more clout with them. That's right. So for instance, with my book launch, so when Money Making Mom just came out last week, and with this book, we decided that we did not pay to really advertise to anyone but my actual audience. So we didn't pay to go advertise outside of my audience, and the reason is because my audience, mostly, they're going to kind of know who I am already. If I paid to advertise outside of my audience, I'm going to have to kind of introduce myself first. So it's just differing perspectives. I don't think that there's anything wrong with advertising to other audiences, especially if you're building your following. I just think make sure that it's a post that gets really good engagement, that's really hooky, that's really sticky, and that you are driving them to sign up for something so that it's not just a drive-by traffic. How did that launch go compared to your other launch? Okay, so that's a really great question. Money Making Mom did not sell at all what my other books have sold in the first week. And I knew going into it that that was going to be the case. The reason is because I did not do the kinds of marketing things that I did the last two times. I was telling a friend, it's kind of like when you have your third baby. I don't know, for those of you who have your third baby, you're just sort of like, I don't know, you just become a lot more relaxed about it. And it wasn't that I didn't have goals. It wasn't that I didn't want to sell books. It was really because I didn't want people to feel like I was being a pushy marketer. I wanted people to buy it who really wanted to buy it. And I also didn't want to wear my audience out with it. So I have a lot more posts that I want to share about Money Making Mom. And if I had driven so hard and pushed so hard like I did the last few times, I feel like people would be worn out with it. But right now, a lot of my blog readers, now if you're on Scope, you've heard about the book a lot because I talked about it a lot on Scope. But on my blog, I didn't talk about it that much. And the reason is because I wanted to just have a quiet launch, and I wanted the people who were interested to buy it, and I wanted to be able to then talk about it again and again because I have a lot more that I want to share. And I didn't want people to feel like we're burned out or we're tired out of you talking about this book. Can you please talk about something else? So Periscope versus YouTube, and anything on increasing following. Are you saying the difference between Periscope and YouTube? I think that Periscope and YouTube hit completely different audiences. And so if you're on YouTube, I really strongly encourage you to see if you can repurpose your Periscope videos for YouTube. Now you'll want to, unless they're really short and sweet, you're probably going to want someone to trim them for you, to edit them so that you make them, a shorter length for YouTube. But I think you can repurpose and do it both places. The beauty of Periscope is the live connection that readers have. For instance, there are so many people who have been following me for years. I mean, we're talking like 7 and 8 years who have been reading my blog for 7 and 8 years. So that's a big investment. but they started following me on Periscope, and they've emailed in and said, Crystal, I thought that I liked your stuff, but because of Periscope, I've connected with you at a much, much, much deeper level. Do I outsource social media? That is a good question. You're one of those. Oh, thanks, Jess. You guys are so sweet. I've loved the emails that I've gotten as a result of Periscope. Okay, so let's talk about outsourcing, but back to, let me talk about Periscope versus YouTube. So I think you can repurpose. I think that Periscope is going to hit a completely different audience. So I think that you can do both, but use the same thing on both. Or another option is that if you have created a scope, you've outlined a scope, then you could just, right after you've finished the scope, you could go and shoot the video. So you kind of like practiced on Periscope, and then you can go shoot the video for YouTube. So repurpose as much as is possible. Okay, now we're going to talk about outsourcing social media, because that's a great question, and a lot of people have asked me, how many hours do you spend on social media? So let me go through just the different social medias, because it's different for each one. Okay, so Periscope, obviously, I am the one who's doing Periscope. I can't really outsource that. That's one of the, can't outsource that. But I do have someone who is taking, my assistant, Meg, she watches my Periscopes and she turns them into blog posts, or sometimes we use some of them for our email newsletters. I'm actually in the process of, we're trying to hire a transcriptionist. We're going to hire, probably for the first time, I'm going to hire from the Philippines, I think. I'm going to hire a part-time transcriptionist who's going to transcribe all of my scopes so that every single word of every single scope is transcribed. It's a lot cheaper to hire from the Philippines, and so I can justify that cost of having every single word. Otherwise, it's like it would get pretty expensive for all the scopes that I do. Okay, so Periscope I do myself. Twitter, we auto tweet. So we auto tweet from every single blog post. There's a plugin that we have that just auto tweets it out. And then I get on Twitter usually probably 3 to 4 times a day when it's during my social media time, and I hop on twitter.com and I look at my notifications. So I'll see if someone retweeted something, if someone replied to something, if someone asked me a question, anything that people have shared where you have tagged me at MoneySavingMom on Twitter. I am the one who sees it, and if it's retweeted, that's me. I'm retweeting it because I mostly do all of my Twitter. So it's auto-tweeted. The only time someone else that we outsource Twitter would be if someone has purchased a what we call an underwritten post on my site. I talked about that when I talked about advertising. So if they purchased an underwritten post, my assistant will actually put the tweet out. I approve the stuff, and then she'll put the tweet out for, she'll schedule that on Twitter. And then I have one of my other assistants, she also schedules 30 posts on Hootsuite from the archives. Once a month, she block schedules, and those go on Facebook and Twitter as well. Now, Facebook is a different animal because Facebook is so complex for us, and it is our biggest traffic driver. So we do put a lot of resources in Facebook. I have a wonderful assistant in California who she schedules all of my posts at night. So we have a spreadsheet that we put together where we track all of the posts on Facebook that do really well. The posts that link directly to my blog, and the posts that link to other people's sites, and the funny cartoons that we post, and the inspirational quotes. We track all of it. The ones that get a certain level of engagement, we put them on the spreadsheet. And then she updates that spreadsheet once a week, and she also will then schedule out 10 posts every night. So she schedules posts from 10:30 at night until 8:30 in the morning on the hour, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, or maybe it's 11:30 to 8:30. I think that's what it is. Okay, so every single hour throughout the night, and that is from the spreadsheet of posts that have done well. She's highly intuitive, and she just picks what is seasonal. She does a nice mix of posts, and she watches what works, and she takes care of that. So that's one. And then two, I also have my assistant Meg, who does all of the deal post on Money Saving Mom now. She also schedules my Facebook hourly throughout the day. And we have two Facebook share groups that we're a part of, where it's a couple of bloggers where we share links from each other's blogs. And so she pulls links from that to schedule, and then she also schedules out posts from my blog, usually the new blog post or ones way back in the archive, and she does a mix of those as well. I get on Facebook probably 4 to 8 times a day, and I have little snippets of time throughout my work time where I get on, I'm looking at the comments, I'm kind of seeing what does well, and I am also paying attention to what people are saying, because I want to know. I feel like that's my way for having my finger on the pulse. And then I throw up different posts, like maybe in my stream. I have a private Facebook account that is an incognito Facebook account that I use for, that's what I use because I don't use Facebook other than for business. So I have a private Facebook account that I follow a bunch of sites on, and I might post something from one of those sites that I found. I might post something from somebody emailed in, whatever. And then I also schedule the post from 7:30. I schedule posts at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30 because that is our peak time. So I schedule out my new content pieces at night. I'll also schedule videos that I've trimmed from scope. So that sounds really complex, but suffice it to say that I do outsource a lot of Facebook, but I'm also very, very involved in it because it brings so much traffic. Okay, that was a long answer. Pinterest, I have almost entirely outsourced Pinterest, and Meg, my assistant, we have a strategy that we follow, and she schedules all of that out for me. And we actually just switched, or we're just trying out somebody, I think it's Tailwind. We had used Viral Tag for a long time, and then last week whenever I was talking about Pinterest, someone suggested Tailwind, and I went and checked it out, and Meg said she'd used it with some of her other clients before, and so we are testing out Tailwind right now. But she schedules it all on there, and we schedule our new post, we schedule posts from the archives, and we schedule about 60 to 70 posts a day on Pinterest. So did I hit all of them? Sorry, that was a very long answer, but suffice it to say that I am involved and know the strategy, and I'm the one that creates the strategy, and then some of it I outsource and some of it I do myself, but I really pay attention because that is what is so important. For instance, I'm gonna give you a tip. Yesterday, I was paying attention to Facebook and realized that when I did an image post with a link, it was actually doing a lot better than if I did a link post. So I will show you an example of what I mean by that. Let me find it on here. Okay, so I posted this. Let's see if you can see. If you can see this, how to eliminate 99% of the paper piles. Do you see how I just uploaded that as an image and then put the text there with a link. That has been shown to, let me look up stats right now, probably about twice as many people as would be shown if it was a link post. So for some reason right now, I don't know if it's just my page, but you should experiment with this. And it seems like actually the vertical, the long vertical or square, not the rectangular images. It's the long vertical ones with text and a link that you upload just the image and then text and a link. Those seem to be performing really well for me. I'm gonna keep testing it out, but on Sunday, every single one that I posted like this, it did really well. So That's just a little tip. Okay, somebody else asked me, oh, hashtags. So you do what now? You upload the picture and then do the text and the link. So if you can tweet at me if you can't, and I'll send you the link to this. But basically, if you can see how this is, if I can show you. Okay, so see how I uploaded the picture. It's just a picture. It's not a linked picture. And then there's a title and there's text. And then if you click there, there's going to be a link as well. That's been shown to a bunch more people and click through a lot more. And every single one that I've done like this over the last 2 days has performed really well. So try it out and let me know if it works for you. Like compare, do a link post with a rectangular image that's done really well compared to this with a vertical image, and try it out and see. Because I'm curious if it's just my page or if it's all pages that Facebook is rewarding this right now. What do you do when you do the link and it pulls the thumbnail? Let me see if I can, okay. So when you do the link and it pulls the thumbnail, you just click the X. I'll show you. I'll give you an example here. We'll just do a total hands-on. This is when I wish we were all in the same room. See if I can do this real quickly. Okay. Here is, okay, so I'm going to put, okay, let's see if you can see this. Okay, so I have it pulled up right there that I'm going to put the link right in there. Okay, so you see the link, it's right in there. It pulled up the thumbnail, which actually you want a big vertical picture like this, not an actual like tiny thumbnail. That's going to show to a lot more people. Okay, so look where my little cursor is. You click on that X right there, and look what happens. It takes it off. And then you can, so you can upload your picture, you can put your text in there, and you don't have the link anymore. You don't have a link post, you just have a link. Test it out, let me know, I'm really curious. I'm always playing around with this stuff and always experimenting and watching what works. Okay, yeah, and then upload the picture, and then there you go. So mix things up on your Facebook page. Don't ever just have all link posts. Mix things up. How do you handle negative comments on Facebook? Okay, so here's my deal. Facebook is like a negative comment farm. And people on Facebook are super rude. It's just what it is. People, like, I will post something on Instagram and I'll just be like, oh, that's so lovely, that's so amazing. And I post it on Facebook and they're like, that is the most ridiculous idea I ever saw in my entire life. Yeah, so that's the difference. And so here's what I do. Yeah, the trolls here actually don't bother me because most of them are just total trolls. On Facebook, it's like, I am so much better than you. Like, I mean, I never have Cheerios on my floor, ever. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so here's what I do. The little X, we will show you. There is the little, let me show you. Okay, just don't tell anybody that I do this. Okay, so there's a little X. Where am I? Okay, right here. You can X their comment so it no longer shows up and only them and their friends can see the comment. So usually I just do that. If they're just kind of whining about something or they're saying something, I'm like, that's going to turn into World War III. I don't need that. I say that in jest. Please don't anybody freak out. Because one time I used the word Nazi on my blog and it was not good. People were all upset about how I was comparing something to the Holocaust. I'm like, no, okay. So World War III, we're just saying that in jest. Okay. Anyway, there are never Cheerios on your floor, Keely. We can't be friends. Can't be friends. Do I do that or does my assistant? I do it a lot of the time. My assistant also goes through, every day I have her go through the last 24 hours and just look at all the comments because sometimes I will miss some or, and she'll send me, like she'll email me links to like, you probably need to respond to this, but she'll hide the comments of people who they just like, they're just having a hard day. Yeah, they're just having a hard day. And so we'll hide those comments, or if somebody's really being nasty, like they're really being nasty in the sense of they're using the F word, they're yelling at someone, they're being disruptive, that sort of thing, then we will ban them. Yeah, they need to be prayed for, but I just ban them because I know, and I'm being kind of snarky. I guess I can be snarky on here. I have a really snarky side, but I can't let it out. I have to like keep it in. I have to keep it in because when you snark back on snarky people, that doesn't go so hot. So you can see 3 Cheerios on your floor right now. I can probably beat you. I can probably beat you. My floor downstairs, this morning it was like, I was like sweeping up. I was like, we could make a casserole out of this. But anyway, okay, so I will ban them if I'm kind of like 3 strikes, you're out. So if you say the F word, you're instantly out and if you are yelling and being really, really mean to someone, you're out. I just ban you. You have a sink full of dishes. It's okay to use a snarky voice with your husband when venting. Yes, my poor husband. Yeah, sometimes it's just funny. What's for dinner, Mom? Look on the floor. Yes, okay, you guys are cracking me up. Thanks for being my safe place so I can just be my snarky self. Anyway, so really honestly with the comments, I think do not allow negativity. And if someone's, having constructive criticism where they just need to be responded to, like maybe, was it this morning? Someone said on my Instagram, you might be watching right now. And it wasn't a critical comment at all. It was me. I posted on Instagram yesterday and she said, I thought that you were unplugged on Sundays. And that's not a snarky comment. That's not a critical comment. She was just curious as to why I posted on Instagram when she thought I was unplugged on Sundays. And so I explained to her how unplugged for me, what that means, and that, Instagram, like I talked about at the beginning, Instagram is my fun place, and I don't blog, I don't answer emails, I don't respond to comments on my blog and all that on Sundays. But I will get on Instagram because it's my fun place. So anyway, I will respond if it's not like I need to defend myself, but if it's just like it needs a clarification. I do that a lot. But I don't, if someone's just being mean, then they're out of there. Because, I just either ban them if they're really awful, over the top, or just hide their comment. So anyway, I loved your little snippets. I was inspired to whip up a batch of pancakes. So thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, I learned something else, and that is if you talk about God, if you say God in your title, because I did a really spiritual little 1-minute scope yesterday, which I understand that not all of my followers are Christian and all that, but I specifically put God in my title because I thought I didn't want anyone to feel like I had duped them into, it was a Christian scope. Well, I lost a lot of followers yesterday over that. So anyway, that was interesting. Just don't worry about the haters, be you. Yes, that's my goal. Love the snippet. You want the CD? You know what? Oh, rats. No, I gave it away today. Sorry, I was going to give it to you, but I gave it away already. Okay. Anyway, you love the mini scope. I was trying something fun yesterday doing these mini scopes because I thought, we'll try it. So anyway, okay, we are getting a little off topic, but that's fun. I feel like my scopes recently have been just like super, super focused, except for Saturday night, which was a little bit crazy. Yes, but so it's fun to just get to hang out sometimes. So anyway, you guys are so much fun. I'm just, yeah, I love Periscope. Have I mentioned that? So anyway, okay. I think that was probably good. Saturday night, you're so sweet. Oh my goodness. I got off that scope on Saturday night and I was like, I was a goofball and I said like a ton of times. And I always do that when I feel a little bit unsure because I didn't know how it was going to be and I was a little bit insecure about the whole thing and awkward. And so I said like a lot of times. But anyway, I'm glad that you all thought it was fun. I was relaxed, but I was just a little bit weird. Yeah, but I have a weird side sometimes where it's just, you're super chill and that's how it was. So trying to stop saying, I say it, we all say it. See, I just said it. I say, But weird equals awesome. You guys are fun. Okay. Anyway, that's enough craziness for one day. But I just said again. We're bummed to miss it. Hoping to do it again. We will do it again because my husband loved it. He had so much fun. Now I'm watching, and now I keep being like, I keep saying Okay. So I'm trying not to say and this is making me awkward. That's enough for now. Okay, but we will, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for our morning motivation show. And I think tomorrow I'm going to do a Money Saving Mom scope on email list. I think. We'll see. So anyway, have a good day and I will see you tomorrow.